And welcome back to Subculture on CentralCoastRadio.com. Well, we know that you guys fell in love with the Transits with their first single, When You Went Away, and we've got some very good news now. We've got some great news, in fact, that they've got a brand new single called Renegade Hearts that is out, and we're about to play it in a moment, but even better news, we've actually got Dom from the band on the phone right now to chat about this brand new single. Welcome to the program, Dom.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dave, and viewers, listeners. It's great to have a chat today.
So, Dom, as we said, we were playing When You Went Away on our show, and our listeners absolutely fell in love with it. Did you guys feel any pressure coming up with this second single now that it's out?
I think it's more the build-up of excitement because we only launched last August, and we recorded When You Went Away straight off the bat. It only came out in February, which meant that it felt like an eternity for us to even get the first song out. And that did really well, so I'm really stoked that you guys have loved it. And then same with the second one, a little bit of pressure because, we're new and we just want to make a good impression, but we're also still figuring out our sound at the same time. And so it has, again, the past few months have felt very, very slow until the lead up to this single. But the cool thing is since then, we've got a whole bunch of new songs coming out. So almost every month now we'll have new singles. So it'll be less of a wait. And then hopefully the pressure will kind of subside a little bit because, it does tend to be there.
Definitely. Now, you mentioned that you guys only got together last August. Tell us a little bit about how the band first got together.
Sure, it's an interesting story. I say we got together last August. We also got together 30 years ago, if you can believe it. So we were 15 actually when the three of us started playing together. We weren't under the name The Transits. We were a band called Cabbage in South Africa, and we all went to school together, and we started basically at school level. And then after school, we kind of separated as the three-piece and formed other bands, and we did that successfully for more than 10 years in South Africa through the 90s and the early 2000s, basically before the internet. So we're a little bit of an enigma where you can't really find any of our history online. And last year we started talking about, wouldn't it have been great if we could do this again, because we're based in two countries. We're based across New Zealand and South Africa. And technology these days is just incredible. So what I thought would never be a reality became a reality really quickly, where we went, maybe we should try this. And from then it's really just steamrolled into this full-time band that we love playing in. And it kind of started 30 years ago, but it's also kind of new. So it's all quite exciting.
So tell us a little bit. You mentioned that the band is split between New Zealand and South Africa. How do you go about songwriting and recording? That must be pretty difficult.
It's difficult. It was certainly a challenge, but it's a challenge we've kind of had to just embrace if we want to do this. And it's interesting because typically a band, you're in the same room and you feed off each other's energy, and you'll bring a suggestion or you'll try something and it'll work or it won't, and you can talk about it. We hardly ever talk in real time because of the time difference. So our relationship is based on voice notes and voice recordings and just recordings that we do. So we wake up in New Zealand to messages from South Africa and vice versa. So it's quite an unusual way to be in a band, but at the same time we're all so passionate, we're all on the same page, and we have this history that even if we're not in the same room anymore, we can still kind of know what each other's going to be into. Yeah. And I think it's only because of our friendship and our history that we're actually able to do it in this way.
Definitely. Now tell us about this brand new track, Renegade Hearts. Tell us a little bit about what our listeners can expect to hear on this track in a moment, and what the track is actually about.
Awesome. So firstly, the track is about really celebrating your true self, no matter what that means for the chaos that could bring, or the quirks that it could bring. But I suppose in life, and I think we all fall prey to this, it can be quite easy to be someone that you think people want you to be. And growing up in South Africa as well, it was very, very conservative. We didn't know anyone that was playing music, and if you weren't playing rugby or into sports, you were a little bit of the outcast. And that can mean different things for different people, being their true self. And that's what we love. Is our songs are always have enough of a door open so they can be interpreted in a more personal way. We don't like songs that are too overt, going, this is what we're saying. We like it when the listener can actually take on a little bit of a life of their own with our lyrics and our vibe, I suppose. In terms of the track itself, yeah, I guess it's probably energetic punk rock with a bit of synth. It's still fairly early days. We kind of love the perfect marriage of punk rock, indie, and synth, and we're trying to hopefully find something that feels a bit unique and a bit of us. And so this song is very much continuing on from When You Went Away kicked off. And it was interesting because when we started last year, we were like, well, yeah, we played together 30 years ago, but how would it sound if we were a band today? And I think this is the sound that we found.
Definitely. You talked about growing up in South Africa and how about playing music made you an outsider. Has that kind of changed over the years? I mean, I've talked about it before on our show. When I went to high school, and especially at my high school, which was kind of a sporty high school, if you listened to a certain kind of music, it meant that you would get bashed at lunchtime or your head would be in the toilet. But nowadays, you walk past my old high school and all the kids are wearing music t-shirts. Like, it's completely changed. Has that changed in South Africa as well?
Yeah, I feel like it has, and you know, is that a good thing? Who knows? Because I feel like sometimes you need that tension to do something and try and stand out. But at the same time, it's not great being, you know, picked apart or picked on because you're into a certain thing and you don't, you know, roll with the masses. So it's a little bit of love and hate. But I think that, I think typically it absolutely has changed. I think everyone now, you know, everyone's a musician now. Everyone's a creative, a content creator. It's quite open, which makes it just a very exciting time. But I know what you mean. Like, there's a high school down my road, and if I drive past in the morning, it looks like I'm in the 90s. It looks like I'm seeing like old school Smashing Pumpkins t-shirts. It's quite incredible how music and genres and decades can come around.
Yeah, and I went to the Smashing Pumpkins concert in Melbourne recently, and there was just as many young people there as what there was people my age as well. So, it's amazing how bands are transcending generations these days.
It's quite incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love that.
So, Dom, talking of touring, what's the plans for the Transit in the future? Are you guys hoping to tour? Are you hoping to bring out an EP or an album? What are the plans going forward?
So, we're bringing out an album in end of October is the plan. And Renegade Hearts has just come out. And as I mentioned, we've got another 2 songs coming out, and then another 4th single with the album release, and quite a big video that we're working on at the moment, which is all set in the 80s, which we're having quite a lot of fun concepting. And I think as a band, because currently we don't tour, we are all about the visuals and about content and specifically music videos and how we come across visually as a band. And that's just one of the things we have to embrace because we're not touring. Touring, yes, that would be fantastic. That is a long-term plan. You know, obviously with the restrictions of being in 2 different continents as the obvious one, we will get there. But for now, we're relying on building a fan base based on, I guess, content and our music.
Awesome. Well, mate, we are going to play Renegade Hearts on our show right now. So what would you like to say to all of our listeners before they listen to this stunning track?
Well, firstly, thank you so much for the support on our previous track. Yeah, we really hope you get into it. If anything, like, check us out on Instagram. That would be fantastic if you could follow us and just keep updated on all things the Transits. And I really hope to talk to you again, Dave. So it's been great.
Definitely. We would love to have you back on with the new singles and also the album later in the year as well. But for right now, for all of our listeners out there, this is Renegade Hearts by the Transits.